Video number 37. Number 37.1. I totally understand about seeing people. My mother had miscarriages for 17 years before I was born. I was widowed in my 20s. The day before my mother died, she was in a coma-like state and had fought Alzheimer's for years. Suddenly she woke up and was more lucid than she had been in years. She started talking about the little girls and boys and how cute they were, said she was staring into the heavens, and she said she wished I could see what she is seeing. She then mentioned the man next to me and said he has long hair and looks like Jesus, and Thurman, deceased husband, is standing next to him. After she passed, I had thought the girls and boys were hallucinations until my cousin said to think about it, all those miscarriages are the boys and girls. Number 37.2. About a month before my husband died of pancreatic cancer, he was visited multiple times by his deceased brother, who he said was just preparing me for what's coming. I now work for a hospice, non-clinical, and hear this often of our patients. Number 37.3. My dad visioned his recently passed and beloved older sister the very morning of the day he died. He never needed pain meds while on hospice. It made him happy to be able to talk to her, and it comforted me as well to know he wasn't going to be alone on the other side. Number 37.4. 3 years ago my mom would say, "Not yet, mama, I think it's giving them safe passage to heaven." By the way, God bless hospice, y'all really helped at the time. Number 37.5. My mother saw both my father and her grandson, who had both passed, while she was living at home. She said they just walked past her, not acknowledging her, but seemed very solid, yet they passed through the walls. Note these were separate incidents but very similar. Mama was living alone and in the early stages of dementia, but still able to get around her house. I moved her in with me and she lived 7 more years then, just as you said. She saw her mother up above her and wanted to go with her. She also pointed behind me and said, "There is my grandma." Around a month later she quietly passed here at home with me beside her. Number 37.6. My mom, who died in Bangladesh many years ago, was sick in the hospital, and about 5 days before her death she started saying that her brother was there in her room. My grandparents were there also. Her situation deteriorated 2 days after that, and she was out on a ventilator and then died in 72 hours. Number 37.7. A month before my dad died he was sitting in his chair at home and said, "Oh, for crying out loud." He went on to say his long-dead sister was standing there. Number 37.8. When my grandmother died my mom was there. My grandmother said, "Ma is here." I've worked in the field of death and dying, helping to start the hospices in several states. It is not uncommon for the dying to see family members who have died. I believe family members reappear to the dying person to help the dying person pass. And some parents of dying children leave after many hours to go home to take a shower. While gone their child dies. They feel terrible they left their child to die alone. But the child was able to pass after they left, because while the parents were there the child didn't die because the parents were holding on so tightly. Parents feel relieved somewhat when this is explained to them. Please subscribe, like and share with anyone that needs these comforting stories. Search for my related book on Amazon using the title of 4,000 Deathbed Vision Stories. Sincerely, Ken.